Now, your forecast first, sponsored by Matex Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
We've had some light snow showers across parts of central Illinois over the last several hours. They're on their way out in Springfield right now. Some of those last little flurries trying to sneak on in here as they carry off to the north and to the east. Looking ahead overall, we've got several quick clipper systems. In fact, 3 or 4 different rounds of moisture coming. Snow and rain on the table, but not for everyone, only for a part of the region. We also think we'll mix some sunshine in the week ahead, plus cold weather is set to return. I'll tell you all about that as WCIA 3 News at 10 starts now.
Now from WCIA 3 News.
Squads of armed soldiers stood guard outside the Illinois state capitol ahead of possible riots today. We'll show you how the National Guard is preparing for Inauguration Day and the week ahead. Plus, a chef comes to the rescue and stops a fire from spreading out of control. Why this is just the latest in a string of setbacks for a popular Indian restaurant and how it's bouncing back. And another region will be allowed to have indoor dining again, but Sangamon County is not a part of it. How its health department is still relaxing more rules for bars, effective immediately.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
At a point soon, we need to get to the point to realize that democracy really does work.
Heavily armed National Guard troops patrolled the perimeter of the state capitol today. Good evening, I'm Jen Lask. The show of strength was in response to an FBI alert warning armed protesters were plotting to move on state capitals nationwide. Those demonstrations never materialized in Springfield today, perhaps in part due to that show of strength. Military vehicles and heavily armed guards lined the perimeter for a 1-block radius all the way around a Capitol building that was already boarded up. Senate Republican leader Dan McConkey was in the National Guard for 9 years and condemned the violent mob that stormed the U.S. Capitol last week, urging Americans to return to resolving our differences through the democratic process.
I think it's a really unfortunate situation that people have become so emotionally invested in winning at any cost that there is this risk that is perceived out there to the 50 state capitals, including our own, of the potential of violence.
The National Guard are deployed to work in tandem with city and state police and follow their lead on all assignments. Law enforcement removed the barricades around the State House just after sundown, but said they're ready to put them back up at a moment's notice at any sign of trouble. State health officials say Region 2, which is north-central Illinois, can move from Tier 2 into Tier 1, meaning they have limited indoor dining. This comes a day after Region 5 in southern Illinois made the same jump. Meanwhile, IDPH is reporting 4,162 new cases of COVID-19 in the state, including 29 deaths. The 7-day statewide positivity rate for cases across Illinois is 6.1%. Governors across the country are making high-stakes decisions over how their states distribute the COVID-19 vaccine and who should get them first. Now, Governor Pritzker is taking heat from critics after he moved convicted prisoners up in line. Our Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell reports from Springfield.
Illinois' first vaccine doses went to healthcare workers fighting COVID-19 on the front lines in hospitals like this one. But now that COVID vaccines are in short supply, who to vaccinate next? The state facing difficult decisions over who to prioritize between people with underlying health conditions who are free to stay at home or inmates who are trapped behind bars where outbreaks are common.
If there's an outbreak in a state prison, they have nowhere to go.
Reverend Michael Addy signed a letter to the Pritzker administration urging them to prioritize limited supplies of COVID-19 vaccines for prisoners.
I know some people will say, well, they did it to themselves. They got convicted. They got put in jail. The jail is jail.
Initially, Pritzker's plan mirrored the CDC, putting prisoners in line after Phase 2 behind essential frontline workers, adults with high-risk medical conditions, and the homeless. Now, Pritzker's plan moves prisoners ahead of them into Group 1B, the same grouping with police, firefighters, and National Guard.
Yeah, I was shocked, frankly.
Senate Republican leader Dan McConkey is a veteran of the National Guard, his master's degree specializing in bioethics, studying right and wrong in medicine and the gray areas in between.
A 20-year-old convicted murderer who's going to be spending life in prison is going to get the vaccine faster than people who are on the outside, law-abiding citizens who instead, if they catch the vaccine, may not survive it. Not only do I think that's wrong, I think it's immoral.
McClunky says he urged the governor to set aside a pool of vaccinations for doctors to use at their discretion for adults in high-risk categories. Reverend Addy argues the state has a moral obligation to care for those in their custody.
As a person of faith, Jesus the Christ said, what you do to the least of these, you do also to me. So morally, it is our responsibility as community, as the city, as the citizens, to take care of those who, the widows, the orphans, our children, our elders, those who are incarcerated.
Reporting in Springfield, Mark Maxwell.
The governor's office has not yet responded to our request seeking comment. During a Monday press conference, the governor said the latest vaccine distribution groupings were established to ensure greater equity for Black and brown communities. Starting today, bars without kitchens in Springfield can allow indoor service. They'll have to limit it to 25% capacity. This comes 2 weeks after the Sangamon County Public Health Department announced restaurants would be able to allow indoor dining at 25% capacity as well. Masks will need to be worn when patrons leave their seats. Slot machines are turning back on as some parts of the state enter Tier 2. Gaming machines have been shut down since November, but in Regions 1, 2, and 5, the machines now have restricted hours of gameplay running from 8 in the morning to 11 at night. Masks must be worn at all times inside the video gaming area. Crowds around the machines are banned, and only one person can play at a machine at a time. A head chef stops a fire that could have burned down a restaurant. WCIA 3's Jared Farmer stopped by Kohinoor this afternoon to check in. So, Jared, how is everyone at the restaurant doing? And tell us a bit more about what happened.
Jen, everyone in the kitchen is okay. Workers were just going about their morning as normal until the head chef started to smell something burning. He quickly realized it was coming from outside, and when he went to look for the source of the smell, he noticed smoke coming out of the roof while firefighters were on their way and everyone was evacuating. The chef tried stopping the fire from spreading to the rest of the building. He succeeded, but his hand was slightly burnt in the process. He says he's just relieved no one else was hurt in the fire.
Everything will be okay this month, right? I'm very happy because everybody's safe inside. That's a very, very good news. So it's okay. Everything is good.
Management says the only thing they lost was the food that they were cooking that morning. They plan on being open for business tomorrow. Like many restaurants, Kohinoor has been closed for indoor dining and focused on weathering this pandemic. They've had more challenges than most, dealing with a robbery back in late November and just getting over what could have been a devastating loss now. They say they would not be in the shape that they're in right now if it wasn't for the support that they receive from their customers. Jen?
All right, glad to hear everyone's okay, Jared. Thank you. Champaign County hosted a Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration this afternoon, centered around taking a stand for what's right. This year's keynote speaker was Dr. Reverend William Barber. He delivered a sermon that drew parallels to 3 distinct periods of American history. He talked about how post-Civil War Reconstruction, the Southern strategy after the Civil Rights Movement, and even how politics today can reinforce some of the darkest aspects of the country. He says today is the latest in an ongoing battle to determine who we are as a country.
This moment that we're in, it's a moment of crisis like it was in Amos' day, like it was in Paul's day. This moment is not whether a party is possible, Democrat, Republican, but whether America is possible, whether we choose chaos or community.
The program also featured several award recipients focused around humanitarian outreach, community service, and outstanding achievement. And we've got Jacob here. What will MLK Day look like tomorrow as far as the weather goes?
You know, as we look at temperatures, pretty seasonal. Our average high this time of year, 33. But we go up, and then the pendulum swings the other way. We go down into the weekend. There will be the chance for a few showers in spots, even some snow showers in other spots as we go over the next 5 to 7 days. We'll time it out for you and let you know what we expect coming up after this.